G'day mate, and welcome back to Factorio with me, JD. So, it's definitely become time. It's definitely become time that we automate assembler ones. I've put it off because I don't really have a dedicated spot for it yet. And I do have this spot here to eventually get stack inserters, which I have no idea. I doubt we've unlocked. Technically we have, but I'm nowhere near ready to actually start building them or needing them. So in the meantime, we're going to get assembler ones automated. And luckily, we have literally all the resources we need right here. So again, this is sort of a temporary build. It's something you'll get very, very used to in Factorio. You'll plop down a couple of temporary builds, and then eventually as time goes by, you'll decide you don't need them anymore and they'll get retired. But that's sort of outputting fast enough. We only need a stack. As with everything in the Make Everything, it doesn't need to run super fast. It just needs to run. And that's really the key thing when it comes to a Make Everything. We're going to pull up this gun turret, this gun turret, this gun turret, and you as well. And we need a engine build, which is under intermediates, engines. Now, this is one of the few things that we can't handcraft. No idea why. The devs really haven't said why. Electric engines we can't handcraft because they have a fluid input. And we have no way to input fluids into our inventory to craft with. But an engine, in theory, we should be able to handcraft, and we can't. We're just going to ignore that factor and leave that right there. Now, we needed a couple of components. We need steel, iron gear wheels, and pipes. So, I could, somewhere on the bus, because we do use pipes in a couple of places, actually put down a little pipe factory, as we did with the gear factory, and have a dedicated pipe build to build pipes for this, that, and everything else. Honestly, you just don't need them often enough to merit the need for a dedicated factory. I much prefer to just have a couple little pipe machines, which is going to be more than overkill for what we need. Just sitting right there and just giving us the few pipes that we actually need for our engine build. And I overbuilt their input by a lot. It is one pipe every half a second, one plate every half a second for one pipe. So a single fast insert is more than enough. And as always, we need to take this up to our bus. I'll swap my toolbar back around. You know what? We're just going to ghost this right the way through for the moment. Up to there. Our steel line is, actually we'll come back to our steel line. The other thing we need on this belt is going to be, not on that belt, but on our pipe output belt, is going to be gears. So I need to get them from, actually they're right there. So we're going to have to underground that from about there to there, pop that in, and that'll be our gear belt when we actually plug it in. So that'll give us gears, that'll give us pipes. Then we need engines. Now engines have a reasonably long craft time at 10 seconds. For our chemical science, we, going on the existing ratio we've been using, we need 2 science packs every 12, we get 2 science packs every 24 seconds. We only need 1 per however many seconds it takes. All right, so if we get 2 for 24, we can half both numbers, so we need 1 for 12. So I now know I need 1 every 12 seconds, which means I also need 2 engines every however many seconds they take. In the case of the engines, they take 10 seconds, and I need 2 of them, so I actually need 20 machines. So that's going to be a fairly long build. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go get more. Whilst I'm here, what else do I need? We'll restock on belts, because you'll just go through belts continuously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10 would put me there. So we'll just zigzag this belt out a little bit further. Which then means I'm going to have a heap of solid fuel in my inventory, but it's alright. We'll work out what to do with that right now, it seems. So I want to, before these machines output, I want this on the belt, priority number 1. Put all that in there. I can take the coal that's sitting in my inventory doing a whole lot of nothing and physically dump it in those machines. We'll use a little bit of a running path to get a little bit more speed. And that's all the space I could find. Okay, so where were we? We've got 9, 10 of these. So, 10 machines, which will have do I have, no, I'm still working with small poles. Okay. Okay, so that's all its inputs. I also need steel as an input, and this is probably when I've put 2 builds too close to one another, because my steel belt is literally going to be right there, which means I'm going to have to bring it sort of through there. Steel is up here, so again, just ghost that through so I know roughly where it goes. Lay out all the power poles. And we now need to do outputs. And this is another item I will actually take back up to the bus because we will need it. We need it for a couple of other components. On top of that, we need it in other places as well. So let's get our gears hooked up. That's probably an important power pole. Okay, so we've got gears hooked up. We'll get... that's obviously going the wrong way. Oh, that was grenades. That's probably important. There to there, there to there. Remove all the ghosts. Same story. There to there, there to there. Actually, no, you're meant to be an iron, so that's easy enough. At least I hope that's iron. Yes, that's iron. Never hurts to check. It's very embarrassing if you don't check and then you find out later. Go away, trees. Go away, trees. Okay, the steel will come down to there. Yep, that's going the right way. That's going the right way as well. Okay. Iron, steel, engines out. Okay, one more project done. Next major project we have is picking a science. Okay, so we don't have blue science running yet. We're gonna go for more weapons. So we're gonna get landmines. Now we have explosives and we have steel. We're gonna go for rocketry because bigger and better rockets never hurt. In fact, it'll actually unlock rockets for us. We can also go with combat robotics, which again, more combat items never hurt. We then might as well just start ticking off. Actually, we'll just leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that. Okay. The next item we need, well, the last remaining item we need for chemical science is the advanced circuits. Okay, over here, red chips, they require plastic, copper cable, and electronic circuit. So electronic circuit we have up here on the bus. We left the lines back there, but they definitely exist. So that's not too hard. We'll just do a replace of all of these. And watch my inventory fill up with even more stuff. You have some steel. Copper. You guys need copper. Have some copper. That's all I can get rid of. Have some yellow ammo. Because I actually have a lot of red ammo on me now. So we're probably at the point where... No, we're definitely at the point where I can put that on there and that on there. And it now means when I'm going out laying gun turrets, I'll actually put the better quality ammo in the gun turrets. Okay, so advanced circuits. Advanced circuits are tricky to say the least. So they require 3 inputs with 1 output. So you're pretty much guaranteed either you're going to use a mixed belt and a mixed belt, and then an output with a long-handed inserter, or you're going to use a full belt with a full belt with a full belt, then a long-handed output inserter, because they take 3 items in and 1 item out. I'm going to show you how I build mine. No. So we've got green circuits we're going to input from the bus. We've got plastic bar that we're going to input from the bus. When I actually put plastic bar on the bus, which will be, you know, up here and then straight back down. Or maybe we'll just run it. No, it'll go up to the bus and then across and then down. And on top of this is a very... It also is not a very fast craft time. We can see green circuits are ½ a second, red circuits are 6 seconds. So they're actually really slow to craft. Which you end up meaning, rather than having a fairly small compact build like this, you end up with a very, very long build. So it tends to jut out of your base quite a bit. In that case, no, we decide we're going to build over oil. Yeah, no, if we're going to build over oil, we'll just whack it right here. Okay, so, again, these take 6 seconds. So because they take 6 seconds, I'm going to build 6 of them. It just means it's less maths I need to work out. So for six of them, being 6 seconds, I now know I need 2 plastic, I need 4 copper cable, and I need 2 electronic circuits. The plastic's coming from the bus. So let's just do plastic from the bus. Don't need to worry about it. Electronic circuits from the bus. I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to worry about any of those ratios. Copper cable. Now, copper cable is somewhat like gears. Wherever I built them, over here. Where you can take in your copper and turn it into copper cable and run along the bus. Now, the catch is, in the intermediates tab, with gears, it's 2 iron plate for 1 gear. So it actually compresses down. With copper cable, it's 1 copper plate for 2 copper cables. So it actually compresses up. It takes more room. If you bring in a solid belt of copper, you then need to take out 2 solid belts worth of copper cable. So it actually works in the reverse of gears. So it's something that's really much better to be made on site. Consequently, we're going to make that on site. Right here, I'm going to make copper cable. And then I'm going to feed my copper cable, because obviously this side's already taken with 2 input belts. I'm going to feed my copper cable in over here. So I'm going to have U output onto here, and I'm going to run it up to my assemblers, up to my inserters. Okay, and because we're using a side load method, we already know for a fact that it's only going to end up on this one side of the belt. But then you're going to ask, JD, what about your output? Where are you going to get your output from? And where's this guy going to get copper plate from? Well, copper plate's easy. We're going to put an input belt on the outside for copper plate, which will take straight up to the bus right now, because it's not too far away. So it'll give us copper plate in to this guy, who's then going to use, and because we need a lot of plate every half a second, I've actually got 2 long-handed inserters, and I'm probably going to do 2 standard inserters for my output as well. So we'll plug that in. That way we can see things actually working. And we can see we're now outputting copper cable. And I can now see straight away that I don't need you. And I probably don't need you. No, this machine is so slow, that's more than enough. Okay. And this is going to be green circuits. Where are those? We'll go back here and we'll grab our green circuits. And run that belt along. Doesn't matter which side of the belt it is. Inputs, inputs, inputs. Inputs. So we've got green circuits. Last thing we need is plastic, which, as I said, is going to come up here. It's going to turn up to the bus here, roughly, and then come down there, roughly. So a little bit of a wander. Oops, there to there, there to there, there to there. There's nothing running between iron copper and iron, so we can just run that straight across without any undergrounds. Bring the belt here, and actually we're going to have to do a splitter there because I'm going to want it to continue up the bus as well. And bring this down. Get rid of all those ghost places. Bring that down to where it runs into copper. There. Oh, I just ran out. I ran out. I've got an odd amount in my inventory. So we're going to grab a stack of those. Grab more belt whilst I'm here. Is there anything else I need? Doesn't look like it. Not yet. I'm trying to work here. There's more of these light things. Okay. Run that to there. That to there. And voila. So we now have all our inputs. That was the easy part. But we don't have an output. So these guys have nowhere for them to output their red circuits. So after 6 seconds, they're going to be full of red circuits and have nothing, nowhere to drop them off. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to output them right there onto the exact same belt that already has the copper cable. And then using the previous trick we used over here with being able to side load onto an underground, so block one lane and allow the other lane to pass, we're going to do the exact same again. We're going to bring it this way and then bring it over here. I'm going to take this whole build and actually I'm going to take the top half of the build of all the red circuit part, paste that back down. I then need to, oops, okay, let's just run these in place first. And then I need my copper cable machine, which needs to go up to here because I need that side load. That means that's copper belt, thanks autosave. Pop that on there, pop that input there, that output there, and just hook up all our power. So again, this is going to be our red circuit belt. And we're going to side load like that. So after I get all my assemblers popped down, U2, 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 output, output, output. I think that was too many power bowls, but sure. Input, input, one input, one input. We need copper, which is going to come from up here. Oops, there. There to there, there to there. And we now have a fully fledged red circuit build. Now, red circuits are something that you will need a lot of as the game progresses. So I've intentionally built my build sort of, you know, a little bit of space, which I probably should have had more space around the engines, between the engines and the military sites. But I've built a little bit of space, and on top of that, I know this build is going to continue. I know it's going to continue out to here. Eventually, it will build all the way up to there. Because I have a full belt of both green circuits and plastic, I can actually make this build very, very, very long before I run a risk of actually draining either of these belts. I could make the whole build slightly smaller and slightly less complex by using a mixed belt. So a belt that has, let's turn you that way, bring you down and do this, and do half green circuits, half plastic, and make the whole build just slightly less complicated. But honestly, I know that in the future we're going to need the throughput of 2 belts worth. Flamethrower seems like a really good research as well. So that's our first red circuit build, which now means we can do, because we have all the prerequisites for a blue science build. Is that, oops, copy, is that, that's a little, I keep hitting escape to get rid of the copy thing, I don't have to. So that's 12 now. I need to hook that belt back up fairly quickly, because that is our power along with so many other things. So again, we're just going to put a little kink in the belt, and we'll fix it up later. After we know where things are going to finally end up. So we have 3 inputs. I can make these share a belt without too much hassle. So red circuits need to go on the bus. Honestly, do I have room? So what's that? Gears, gears, coal, stone. Or brick, rather. No, I don't really. So really they have to come all the way up here to then come all the way back to wherever they need to go. But for the moment, I'm just going to split them, because where they're going first is literally right here. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to get our engines and do the exact same. So because these 2 components are going super local, I'm going to have them go there first and then worry about the bus second. So I'm going to do, yep, that's refined flammables for more flamethrower damage. What else? Follow robot count 1, that's for combat robots. That's all the science I see at this point. Okay, so merge those 2 belts together, bring them along, and have them come down to cover all these guys. Solid fuel, same story. I'm going to have, it doesn't really matter where, do I have room on this side? Yeah, I got room on this side of the build. Whoops. Whoops, twice. So I'm going to have this come up here. You go input, 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 and input, and then over to the long hand inserters. holes, which seem to have fallen off my tool belt. Hook them up to the build before that one. Hook them up to the build before them. Give us some output as well. And power all those up. And then we need to actually get them over to where we have military science already on the belt, because we know that goes to labs, and we know that's only on half a belt as well. So I can make the two items share the belt and still make it to the labs. So I'm going to move that straight down. And we'll just do that and hope that the belt drains a little bit. This is the one I want. And we're going to go underground and then wrap it back on itself so it ends up on the far side of the belt. And we have our very, very, very first poor little chemical science packs. Now, as I said, with a 24-second craft time, these guys are really, really, really slow to craft. In saying that, we've got more assemblers, so it should have the exact same speed as what our military science is running at, along with our red and green science. They're all built to the same ratio, the same overall speed, so everything should run at roughly the same speed. As you can see, with red and green is currently our shortage, and I don't want that research now. Now that we've got blue packs on their way, yeah, they're there, so they should get here hopefully in time. Because the very, very next research we're going to want is going to be this one. But that's what we're going to cover in the next episode. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you're enjoying the channel and the tutorial and all that sort of stuff. Any questions you guys have, good or bad, always down in the comment section. That's the best spot to leave questions. The community, there we go. Community is very, very good. You'll either get an answer from me or maybe from another Factorio player, because there's plenty of experienced players out there. Anyway, I'm going to end this episode here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.